First, let me thank my colleague from Connecticut, Senator Blumenthal, for his comments. I must tell you, I was listening to you account to the people in Connecticut, the individuals who are struggling in this economy. I can tell you that we have the same exact circumstances happening in Maryland. This past weekend, I was with some small business owners who were telling me their plans for opening up a new restaurant and opening up a new gasoline station, and telling me the struggles that they're having in getting financing. There are community banks that have money, but they can't make the loans because of the way that the new rating system is, and it's very difficult to get the capital to make the type of expansions that you need today to start a new business. In my state of Maryland, the high-tech and the cybersecurity areas where we have small companies that are starting up to help our country answer the problems of cybersecurity, help our country develop the type of biotech discoveries that will make our healthcare system more cost-effective. They're having a very difficult time today putting together the capital in order to be able to move forward with job creation. You and I know that 60% of our job creation will come from small businesses. We also know that innovation is more likely to come from small companies that find ways to do things more cost-effectively. And today, in this economy, it is a challenge for small business owners to be able to put together the business financing to be able to create the jobs that we need for our economy. You also understand that if we're going to balance our budget, if we're going to be able to move forward, we have to have more people working in this country. A lot of people are looking for jobs and can't find jobs. We want more people working to fuel our economy. And also, by the way, they also pay taxes and help us bring our budget into balance. So I couldn't agree with you more that we need to get Democrats and Republicans working together. Here we have a bill on the floor that helps small businesses. Let's not filibuster this bill. Let us at least bring it up for an up or down vote. I thought we started in democracy and majority rules. Let's bring it up. Let's have a vote. Let's keep it to the small business issues. We all talk about our support for small businesses. Let's keep it to the issue before us, to create jobs, help small businesses to do that. The underlining bill, and I thank Senator Reid for the underlining bill, which says to small businesses that if you add to our economy, if you create more jobs, if you increase your payroll, then we have a tax help for you to do that. And I must tell you, Mr. President, I think this is exactly what we need. I mean, we know that businesses can't get all the financing they need. They need some help in order to be able to put together the new job opportunities. This bill provides that with a 10% credit on the cost of a new hire. That gives the incentive for a small business owner. Might be the difference between setting up that new restaurant or moving forward to add that employee that will not only help our economy, but will help that company discover the way in which we can deal with the cyber threats to this country. So it helps our country, it creates the jobs, and this underlining bill should be discussed on the floor of the Senate without filibusters that deny us that chance to talk about the issue. I also want to thank Senator Landrieu. Senator Landrieu has put forward a series of amendments, the chair of our Small Business Committee, and I'm proud to have worked with her on the amendment that she has brought forward that adds some additional provisions that are extremely important. I know in the underlining bill and working with Senator Landrieu, we have also the expensing provision. That's an important provision. As I'm sure the senator from Connecticut understands, that provision allows a business owner to go out and make a capital investment, buy a piece of equipment. And rather than having to write it off over 3 years or 5 years or 10 years, they can write it off immediately and get the ability to buy that piece of equipment, to grow their business, and to be able to then write the cost of that off. It's just a timing issue for the business person, but it's the difference between making the investment or not making the investment, creating a job or not creating the job. And by the way, by buying that piece of equipment, that business owner is also helping another business owner who's selling that piece of equipment to get our economy back moving again. It's that type of common sense provisions that have always enjoyed broad bipartisan support in the Senate. Always. These are provisions that we've had Democrats and Republicans working together on. We need to do that today. Let's move on with this bill. You know, we've had it on the floor now a couple days. Let's move on, start voting, but don't filibuster. Let us vote on relevant amendments. Can't we just stick with the small business issues and vote on that in order to help our economy grow? I'm also pleased about another provision that's in the Landrieu amendment in the underlining bill now that we can have a chance to vote on that increases the surety bond limits for small businesses. This was passed by the Senate and incorporated in law in February of 2009. I was proud to be the sponsor of this amendment that increased the surety bond limits from $2 million to $5 million. The reason why this becomes important is that for a small business owner to be able to get a government contract over $100,000, they need to have a surety bond. Now, in order to get that surety bond, the small business owner has to take some of their, usually some of their security, some of their assets and pledge it for the surety bond rather than using it for the credit of the company, which is really a catch-22 situation. Increasing the limits from $2 million to $5 million frees up some of that ability because the government comes in, the Small Business Administration comes in and helps them with that surety bond. So if you're a construction contractor trying to get a federal contract, the difference between $2 million and $5 million is a huge difference in the type of contracts that you can compete for. And it's interesting that when we looked at it, we had projected that it would generate about $147 million in additional bonding activity for the projects over $2 million. And we found that, in fact, it increased activity by $360 million. So the need was there. It generated strong activity. Democrats and Republicans supported it. I was proud to have the support of Senator Landrieu and Senator Snowe. This is not a controversial issue. Well, the only way we're going to get that increase, that expired in 2010. It's no longer part of the law. We're back to the $2 million. So small business owners are at a disadvantage. We just haven't had a chance to extend that. It's not controversial. It brings money into the economy. It's not scored. So we need to be able to get that done. If we can't get to this bill, I don't know when we get that increase in the surety bond limit. So it's another reason I just urge my colleagues to let us vote on this bill to help small businesses in our community. It has always enjoyed bipartisan support. So here's what we're asking. My colleagues, we all talk about we want to create more jobs. We all talk about supporting small businesses because we know small businesses are the growth engine of America. We all know that small businesses create more of the new patents, more of the new innovations per employee than the larger companies do. Well, let's put our action where our words are. And we can do that today by allowing us to move forward to consider amendments on the Reid bill that's before us, the Landrieu amendments. Let's move forward with that bill. Let's take up relevant amendments that deal with small business issues. Let's vote them up or down by a majority vote of the United States Senate. And then I'm sure at the end of the day, when we put that bill up for final passage, it will enjoy broad support by the members of this body. And it gives, I think, the American people confidence that we indeed are focused on job creation for America. So I urge my colleagues to let's move forward on this bill. Let's take up the Landrieu amendments, take up the underlining bill, and let's do something that can help small businesses, help job growth, help our economy, and restore confidence to the American people that we are indeed dealing with the agenda that they want us to do, moving our country forward, moving our economy forward by creating more jobs in our economy.